you. I love the Wednesdays. It's so fun to get together with you. I know today is probably crazy busy for many of you. Maybe you're at work poking posies, hands all dirty, tired, but busy doing something you love with flowers. As you log in and join us, be sure to introduce yourself. Say, hey, hi, it's Leanne. I'm from Portland, Oregon. But let us know who you are, where you're from. Say hey to your fellow tulips. And go ahead and add your tulip icon if you're part of the tulip bunch. If you're a first timer, go ahead and let us know. It's kind of fun to know who is coming for the very first time. Now today's live stream, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about the Super Tulips. And the Super Tulips are the special people that help support Floral Design Institute and the Tulip team. We couldn't do it without you. You are the most fabulous people, and today we're celebrating you. We'll be talking about how you get to be a tulip, what it takes to be a super tulip, and then what Super Tulips have been doing this past year. And of course, we'll be designing. We gotta have some flowers. You know how that goes. If we didn't have flowers, it certainly wouldn't be flower school. And if it's flower school live, you should have flowers, right? Yeah. We have a full house today, grand fun. In the studio, we have Teacher Michelle and Teacher Carolyn both here. Ricky is here as well. So we've got all of this covered. Online with you virtually, we've got Caledonia, and we have Susie, and we have David. Then we have you. So again, get your names in there. Michelle and Carolyn will be watching, and Ricky as well, and they'll be verbalizing to me your comments, your questions, what your thoughts are, who's here, all of those things. I am going to sit here and design with you. The first thought I was to do one arrangement, and I chose a golden container because Super Tulips are like gold to me. They're very valuable. And then I thought, I gotta add a star because they are the stars that shine bright and help FDI along. So Super Tulips, a star for you today. Flower-wise, I decided to start with traditional foliages. So I've got some Douglas fir, harvested directly from Teacher Michelle at her yard. So some of it is local product, very local. Then some cedar, also from Teacher Michelle's yard, more local product. That one's a tough little bugger. There we go. You got me sturdy for it.
It's healthy.
It's very healthy. I love it. I'm just radiating it around, letting it break the line of the container. Then I've got some holly. This was grown out in Hillsboro, so just east of the city. We have a wonderful holly farm there, owned by Peter Quartz. The Tufels also have a holly farm, I believe, but this one came from the Peter Quartz farm. And they have gorgeous variegated holly. Isn't that great? Yeah, so much fun. As I was putting my notes together and thinking about what I wanted to do today, it was such a joy to just think about all the tulips that we get to interact with on a weekly basis, sometimes on a daily basis. You make our job fun. You actually bring us great joy and happiness. So then the question I get always is, how do you be a tulip? And the tulip bunch started several years ago, and we always called ourselves tulips. I don't know why, we just did. And then we decided we needed to be the tulip bunch. Now, some of you know that that group name has changed a few times because we evolved. But now it's the Tulip Bunch, thanks to Lori. She came up with that and said, why do you call yourselves the Tulip people? You are the Tulip Bunch. And I thought that is so much better. How appropriate. So we are the Tulip Bunch, so thank you. Super Tulip Lori. I appreciate that. But the Tulip Bunch came to be as a home for all of our people, go back to that word, it's students of the Floral Design Institute. You could be an in-person student, you could be an online student, you could take hobby classes, you could do career classes, doesn't matter. You're a student of the Floral Design Institute. Then of course also includes graduates of Floral Design Institute, because you've moved on, but you're still part of us, and you still participate, and you still interact, but now you're a graduate. And then also members of our Flower Lovers Club. These are the people that support education and support their peers and want that little bit more, because the Flower Lovers Club videos go just a little deeper into education as opposed to just inspiration, and gives you access to 5 private libraries that are not on any of the public free channels. It's all private education for club members. And so those are the 3 groups of people that make up the Tulip Bunch. So it's students, graduates, and Flower Lovers Club members. You can join us on Facebook, you can join us on YouTube, you can join us on Instagram. We have the private group that is housed on Facebook, so you can always request to join the Tulip Bunch. Be sure to put your name in there. Some of you join with your company name, and then I just have to say, well, who is this? Because I don't necessarily know, and I don't put that together in my mind. So always go ahead and add in your personal name so that I know who it is that I'm talking to, and then it makes it easier to see who goes into the bunch and who doesn't, because it is private, it's not open to the public, it's very select to you. So that's who our tulips are. Now, Carolyn, Michelle, Ricky, what tulips are out there today? Who's joined us?
Well, over on Facebook, they're still chiming in, but we have Carl, David's here, Debbie, Kim, Wayne, Renee, Sherry, Rose has joined us. Rose Steady, she hasn't been on for a very long time. Becca is with us. Josh, Scott, Cindy, Robin, Karen, Jim, and Serena.
Yay. Okay, so Becca, how are you doing with the volcano? Becca is one of our super tulips. She's in Iceland, and I'm sure you've read in the news of the volcano, and luckily they had warning, and so I believe everyone was able to be evacuated, and I believe, other than the fact that it is scary, and you don't really know what's going to happen, but I believe people are safe. But Becca, chime in and let us know what's going on in Iceland. How is it, and how is that volcano? That's one way that people become super tulips is they share their culture, their country, their traditions with us. So some of the super tulips that come at us internationally would be Tess, there's 2 of you, and Becca. You guys have all been very good about letting us know what goes on in your country, whether it's like the St. Lucia Festival, whether it's the Nobel Prize flowers, whether what's happening in Iceland and how flowers are designed there. And you share that knowledge with all of us, and we appreciate that. And that shared knowledge, that's one way that you can become a super tulip, is taking time to help us all learn about flowers in other places. Now those are international situations, but it could even be as simple as from East Coast to West Coast, or Midwest, or a smaller community, but sharing your culture, your world, the way that you use flowers. An example of it that I encountered in the Midwest is grave blankets. Are you familiar with a grave blanket? Here in the Pacific Northwest, we don't do them. But in the Midwest, everybody has a grave blanket. I mean, it's just what you do. And I didn't even know what one was, and I had to go and talk to some people and be educated as to what is a grave blanket and how do you do it and all of that. It's fascinating to me. And I know many of you do grave blankets, and so it's something you go, well, duh. Not for all of us, it's not duh. So I've got just foliage. I added salal because I like having a broadleaf. I think it kind of fills in a little better. Then adding my star because our Super Tulips are the star of the show. Just tucking that in. And then I need flowers. Yeah, gotta have some flowers. It's Flower School Live, not Foliage School Live. So we gotta have some flowers. And I'm kind of excited. Today, all the flowers that you see here came from florabundance.com. And yes, we have corporate Super Tulips. And as far as I'm concerned, Florabundance, Garden Roses Direct, and Lobby Lou, all three qualify as Super Tulips. They support our students, they share great product with us, they share information with us, they offer support, and they've been really wonderful for FDI. We've enjoyed working with them all these years. But you can see how pretty it is. Notice it's mostly in the peach palette because we're filming for the Pantone Color of the Year, Peach Fuzz, and getting those videos ready to release next year. And so I just brought some of it out so that you could see these gorgeous, gorgeous Lysianthus. They are stunning. Let me pull it out here so you can see, pull it apart. Look at the face of that guy. It is just gorgeous with that lovely center. But when they came in, they were tight like this. So you just have to manually reach in and reflex the petals. You know, you've learned that in flower school. How do you reflex petals? Basic floral design. You know, some of you are joining us in January. The class starts on the 8th, I guess it is, early in January, because we've got to get you graduated and out before Valentine's Day so you can be working in the world of flowers. So we start early in January, and I think there's about 6 of you so far that are joining us, so that's pretty grand. I just talked to someone today who is flying in from Colorado, I believe, and joining us for the January class. And then I was just talking to someone about the February class because there's having to set up lodging, and she called to talk to me about, you know, where do students stay when they come to flower school? So I sent the list because there's so many great spots that you can stay close by. You don't even need a car, you can just walk. It's a pretty foot-friendly city. We've got good mass transit too. So it's gonna be a fun 2024. Teacher Michelle, what you got?
Well, you were mentioning all of our tulips that are international, and today we've got a big spread, apart from all of the US, which is kind of foreign sometimes between the West Coast and the East Coast. We have Jamaica, South Africa, Sweden, Lithuania, Iceland, Singapore, and New Zealand so far that have chimed in.
I love it. You know, and with the time zone difference and life difference, I'm honored that you take the time to come and join us. So thank you. It's just so wonderful. If you are just coming in later and you missed out, the whole goal today is to recognize our Super Tulips. Tulips are the students, graduates, and Flower Lovers Club members. Super Tulips go a step further. They are progressive. They are inspirational. They encourage their peers, and they celebrate their peers. They really want you to succeed, and so they'll work to encourage you, and they'll work to celebrate it when you do. It's pretty grand. Some spray roses here. These are just so heavy with this lush petal count, it's just, oh my gosh. So I'm actually going to tuck them down low where their heads will be supportive, because it's not that they're droopy or dying, it's just that there's such an incredibly lush, heavy petaled rose that it needs that little extra support. So just kind of nestling it down in tightly. There we go. That way it won't droop and look sad. It'll keep it full and lovely up at the top. Maybe another stem here. You know, another thing that Super Tulips do is they work to help educate the peers. So one Super Tulip who has been amazing with that is Jim. Whenever there's a topic that needs a little more information, Jim will take the time to research it, write up the whole synopsis so that then other tulips can learn. I know when Pantone announced their color of the year of Peach Fuzz, he took the time to research how that all came to be. Why does Pantone get to be the one that does the color of the year? And yes, there are others, but Pantone is the big one. And he wrote up the whole thing and then posted it in the Tulip Bunch so that all the tulips could know more about how the color of the year is chosen and a little more about Pantone. It was so great, and I know I enjoy going back and reading what he does because I learned so much more with your help. So thank you, Jim. I appreciate that very, very much. What else is going on out there?
Rick said, hello from the North Pole, so apparently it's very cold and snowy in his part of the world.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, on the west or the east coast, they're having some major storms. So you're in the snow zone as opposed to the rain zone, maybe. But I was looking, I mean, there's lots of snow and lots of rain, depending on where you are. The East Coast is getting it hard. So hi, Rick. Glad you could get to us, even though it might be cold. Stay warm.
Robin gave a shout out to Jim as well, that she appreciates his interesting posts.
Yay. Yeah, it is so much fun to learn these things, and learning it from someone else gives a different perspective to the whole thing. So that kind of helps. So Carol and Ricky, what's going on over there?
YouTube is actually super quiet. Lots of people chiming in. We've got Tess, both Tesses, and Leslie, and Brooke, and Kalpna, and Valerie, Roxy, of course, Jill. All of our tulips are coming in.
Yay. So if you haven't introduced yourself yet, please do. We want to be able to recognize you. If you're a first timer, let us know, and we'll all greet you, make sure that you feel welcome, because we want everybody to be happy. So. Teacher Michelle.
Well, Laurel just chimed in and said hello to his favorite artistic instructor, and he can't wait to share his 15th Rose Parade journey with us later.
That's so exciting. I'm glad you're here, Laurel. Laurel is a super tulip. We love Laurel, and many of you know him, even if you don't know you know him, but he was our resource last year for the Rose Parade, helping us learn how many flowers they used, how many hours, how it all came together. And he already has promised me that he'll be doing it again this year so that we can know what's going on behind the scenes. Now, Bertha, another super tulip, a graduate, is also going to be on site decorating floats. I think last year she was a tree decorator, doing the trees up on the scaffolding. I'm not sure what she's doing this year, but she's promised to share too. Michelle.
And two others I just found out about are Marie and Rose are both going to be working on floats this year as well.
Oh, grand. So we've got quite a few tulips down there in Pasadena. Please post some pictures on the Tulip Bunch page and just share a little bit of that behind the scenes. It's so much fun to know what you're working on, what's happening, and then the day of the parade, as we all watch the parade, we can go, oh, I know who made that, or oh, I saw who did that, and it just makes it so much more fun. You know, tulips share, and super tulips are the quickest to share, and they'll let us know what they're doing, who they are, they share about what's happening, and then they take our information, turn around and share it out. Many of you were very helpful as I was trying to figure out some algorithm things going on, and you made a point of sharing out a video or sharing something out about the school last week. And that was so helpful because we could see, okay, if this happens, that, and just helped us do some analytics. So thank you. We so appreciate it when you take that time to share and just help spread the word. It is so grand. I'm going to set this one aside. You can see it's got amazing blooms from Florabundance. Got a star representing our super tulips, and then a local product put in here. But I want to make some more. And I think we need to make more. So we'll set this one aside so that we have room for more. Setting it aside but not letting it fall off. We don't want that. Notice Super Tulip Kim had sent this to us because we didn't have a turntable, but now we do. So thank you, Kim, for sharing that with us. It has been a benefit to everybody. It's so wonderful because Super Tulips identify a need and then take care of it. And Kim noticed that we needed a turntable, so she took care of it. We just got a new toy, our very own, a cordless electric hot glue gun. No cord, look Mom, no cord. So thank you, Heidi. That was so sweet. She saw us last time when Teacher Michelle was here trying to unplug and plug and unplug, and she's like, oh, they need cordless. Why are they doing that? And then it showed up on our doorstep. And it's like, oh, makes my heart so happy. So with this one, another Super Tulip, Super Tulip Greg, showed up at my doorstep with draping sequoia. It's a giant red cedar, I believe, is it? Red cedar?
Redwood or sequoia,
Redwood,
yeah.
Sequoia. And it was great big branches. It was amazing. And I thought, oh yes, we need some of that. So local tulips, you know, they just show up and they go, oh, don't you need? And I go, oh yes, I need more water in that. That's what I need. I put that in without enough water. My mechanics are just floral netting in a big bowl. And then now I've got more water in there so that will not die before we get pictures. But Greg showed up with the sequoia, and you can see how lovely that is. Judy shows up almost every year, I think, with cuttings from her curly willow tree. Shows up in the springtime with just bushels of willow that we then use in the classroom. It's so much fun. Then we have tulips that show up just to help. Some of you helped when we did the Lansu garden and did floral jewelry when we just needed to have a lot of flower rings and a lot of flower boutonnieres, a lot of flower cuffs, and many of you that were here locally showed up and helped make sure we could flower the city. Wendy showed up to help mail out all the cards, so thank you, Wendy. She has been a wonderful asset to the school and helped us before, but this time, she helped us at the Lansu too. And this time she actually went into secretarial mode and was helping stuff envelopes and get the mail out, which was such a nice treat to have an extra set of hands. So Super Tulips come at it from so many different ways. Local, that's the benefit. I know Shelley has helped out when we needed to do flowers for the Portland Rose Festival and has been a big asset to us there. She just shows up and helps. This year was a little bit more traumatic because she had shoulder surgery and some medical things, but now she's back in the game, and so she'll be running around again now that she's feeling better. You know, life gets in the way sometimes, and you just kind of, really? How can that be? But maybe a little bit of cedar. So I got different types of foliages in here.
That's gonna smell amazing when you're done.
Isn't it though? It's just so great. I mean, it's got, well, and evergreens just always are a delight to work with until your hands get so tired of them. You're like, oh, no more. I don't want any more. Yeah. It's like, Maybe some pine cones. Now, some super tulips, as they go along, they start their businesses and they make it a point to search out other tulips when they're looking to hire. So like Carrie with her store, she quickly called me. She's like, Leanne, what tulips are around here? I need to hire, and I would like somebody that is in the same training as myself, because they'll be a better employee because you've taught them the right way to do it. Oh, that made me feel good. And there's several of you like that look out for other tulips so that you can keep them employed, benefit yourself because they've got the same skills you have and the same training. So it really is a win-win situation for everybody. This is a great glue gun. I'm happy. Happy, happy, joy, joy.
Are you a Ren and Stimpy fan?
No comment.
I'll say yes since she knew the reference.
Oh, the things we find out about each other is kind of amazing, don't you think? Next week, in fact, finding out about each other, next week is going to be interesting. This week is all about you, the Super Tulips. And next week, we're going to be talking about Floral Design Institute, me, the teachers, the history, basically anything you want to know about FDI and the world of flowers and how we all are involved with it, you can ask. It's going to be a total open discussion of what's going on in the world of flowers and what is FDI doing? Who are we? How did we get here? And how is that going to change in the new year? You know, what brought us here in the old years? And where are we going in the new year? It should be fun. We haven't done a casual Q&A before, well, not in a long time. We've done it in the past. But this time we're going to take kind of a step back, relax, and I'm actually going to have my computer up with me so that I can read your questions myself and talk directly to you, rather than having to have it come in from the sides. So it'll be a little bit more interactive, a little more intimate. I think I'm going to be really excited about that, actually. Tucking in these balls. These balls are kind of amazing. Peacock hued, you know, and that's where I started. I was like, well, you know, this kind of goes with this palette. And I thought, that's kind of fun. Some of them have sticks on them, some don't, because it doesn't matter, because I have a glue gun, and I can just glue it right in. How cool is that? Oh my gosh.
They almost look like eggs sitting in there.
They do, don't they? Oh my gosh. Yes.
I want the bird that laid those eggs. It's way better than that goose with the golden ones.
You know, it's interesting. Super tulips, one of the things that I notice is that they really look out for each other and they encourage each other. Look at this. Dahlias in December, oh my gosh, absolutely unfathomable. You think about all the things that we get now that we wouldn't have got before, that now is available, and Flora Abundance had these. They were available, and so we have them. Pretty much amazing that is even a possibility in this day and age. But you can get flowers from anywhere, from any time, and they just kind of tuck in. Turn this one a little bit, get it where I can see it better. Make his face show beautiful. There we go. Now it looks beautiful. But I was saying before I got sidetracked with my dahlias, because I got kind of excited there for a minute, that tulips encourage. And I know Heather is one of our tulips up in Michigan. And when somebody has a question or a concern, or they're not sure, and they're like, okay, is everybody slow, or are you slow, or what do I do about? She's quick to speak up and give an encouraging word and just say, it's okay, you can do this, you got this. So Super Tulips are like that. They look out for you, and they'll kind of validate your concerns and then help guide you to find what to do, how to do, and to be better. And there's several of you that do that. I just pointed out Heather because I saw it just the other day, and I thought, oh, Heather, that was so sweet, and just a very thoughtful gesture. Okay, some buds, some dahlias. It's just gorgeous, absolutely stunning. Maybe we can put this bud in here too.
Are those Cafe Olay?
They are Cafe Olay, which is a tricky dahlia. It's a very tricky dahlia. And if you do wedding work, I know many of our tulips are in the wedding world. Cafe Olay is always wanted and requested, but the color changes. They can be a variety of hues, and so it's kind of tricky. This time, kind of peachy, kind of beigey, very antique. So I find them to be fun to work with, but you have to be careful when you're talking to the person buying them that they understand the color is going to vary depending on the weather and how they were grown, where they were grown. It changes from place to place, so it's a little bit tricky.
Dana had a question. Are there any blooms you wouldn't recommend using with winter greens?
That's a good question, I would say no, but let's throw it out to the tulips. That could be something that would be good for the hive mind. So tulips, have you experienced something that doesn't do well mixed with the winter greens? Because I have not, but maybe you have. Carolyn, have you found any that didn't do so well?
Nope, I put everything with holiday greens.
Michelle, how about you?
No, I think depending on what you're creating, there's enough variety in the texture and colors in evergreens. It's just, well, for us in the Northwest, it's just another foliage.
Yeah, and I like calling them winter greens as opposed to Christmas greens, because then you can use them for a longer period of time. And they work in well in the autumn, and then they work well into January. And by calling them winter greens, it gives you a longer window of use, in my personal opinion. So now you know what I think about that. Tucking in some stock, just to get a little bit of vibrancy in the center, a little bit of height. And what else am I going to put there? This chrysanthemum came in, and it could be a good substitute for a dahlia if you were having a wedding and you were having troubles finding dahlias. Some of the chrysanthemums now, the colors are amazing, and they're definitely longer lasting, sturdier, and I think I would definitely be looking at using those. Peaches and Dream. I love that name. Peaches and Dream. Kind of a true orangey peach. tulip that has been a wonderful asset to me. Huge help. And I don't know if you even know how big of a help you are to me, but Drake is a super tulip who is very fluent and active in social media. And he is involved with a lot of different groups. And so when he sees something that I should be aware of, or that I should answer, or that I should respond to, he's quick to tag me and say, hey Leanne, what do you think? Or Leanne, do you know? Or Leanne, look. But he's quick to make sure that I'm aware. And you know, we can't do everything. You know, we get busy and you just can't do it all at once. And so to have an extra set of eyes out there, that's definitely a super tulip task. And so Drake, that is one of the things that you bring to the table that just makes me so happy, because it makes my life a little bit easier and allows me to respond and stay. It makes it look like I paid attention when really it was you that paid attention. And so thank you, because it allows me to make sure to do my job. And so that's a task that super tulips do really well. And it's one that Drake's always one of the first to, it's like, oh yeah, Leanne, look at this, make sure, know this. And it's great, so thank you. So as I've been working on this, I've been trying to think about the fact that super tulips are really quite diverse. There's no single avenue of this is that type of person. They might be fluffy and pink and linear and kind of up, or they could be a little bolder into the coral, the orange, or substantial and just oomph, you know, of a dahlia that's in your face, fabulous. Or they could be the backbone, the stable, the base, the foliages that just hold it all together, that really create the community. Or they can be kind of pokey and prickly, and they're like, okay, I'm not colorful, and I don't do glitter, and I don't do this, but you know what? If we didn't have them, it wouldn't be as pretty. And then we have some that are a little more flamboyant and in your face and loud and lots of glitter. And we need them. But that's what's so great about tulips. They're all there. They have every single one of those. And tulips respect each other. There's no competitiveness that is like, oh, you're bad, you're wrong, I'm better. No, there's a lot of respect and celebration of each other. There's supported, they just kind of, like, we're in this together, and we're one big family. And you don't see that everywhere in the world. And I guess that's one of the things that makes me the most happy about the Floral Design Institute, the Tulip Bunch, our flower family, is that we're accepting of each other. And we revel in everybody's successes, and we just get better on our own because of that. So pretty excited to have you all be part of our tulip family in the Tulip Bunch. You know, I think I'm going to add a little bit of grevillea in there because it just will open it up with a little different look. Being careful with it because I react to it, so we'll just put some in and then I'm going to move this aside. And I'll fuss with it and get some more stuff into it before we do the photos tomorrow. But I gotta have a little bit of grevillea in there because it's so pretty.
When you picked it up, I started to itch just looking at it.
I know, it's like, careful.
So there's a little discussion on, with regards to your question about evergreens and flowers. And Begga said that she never mixes roses with wintergreens, that they have an ethanol component that can be toxic and roses are sensitive to it. And Shane, our friend Shane, said that he does have some problems with tea roses and some garden roses with evergreens. But then I have some other comments about I've used roses and wintergreens without any problems at all. So maybe the tulips just need to do their own testing on that this winter.
You know, I would definitely encourage that because we share, we teach, we learn from each other, but nothing is ever the gospel truth. Everything you should double check it yourself. Don't trust anything. Always go back and do some testing, do some experimenting, and see what you think. Because it could vary according to your water even. Everybody's water is a little bit different, and how it reacts with flowers can change things. I have a neighbor who actually brings water from their other home, I don't know, whatever, but they haul water to their condo so that when he puts flowers in that water rather than our water, he claims his flowers will last twice as long. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but you know what? He believes it, and so I'm going to believe it. I use my regular water. You know what I should do, though? I should ask him to bring me some of his water and do a test side by side with his water and my water and flowers, because I found that to be a little weird. But who am I to judge? It can be weird, or it may be just different. And that's what the tulip people are. They're all just a little different, which is kind of fun. Okay. I have a new one I want to share with you. I don't think, maybe I will put some in here. This is a new fern. It was new to me. Debbie at Floral Abundance sent it to me, and I had to send her a picture of it back and say, what is it? Because I didn't know. And so then I even had to write it down because I don't really know. But Phlebodium rucula probably. Phlebodium rucula. So Michelle, I'm going to hand you that. If you want to type it in, because I'm not sure anybody will ever get that figured out. But it's got the prettiest blue-gray color. And I thought it worked so well with those balls. I was like, oh, that's just too lovely. And then adding that larger leaf that I always like to do. Isn't that great how that just fills in there, picks up that color and draws it through? I'll have to add more. I'm going to set this one aside because I've got another design I want to make, and we've got to fit everything into our hour, so I'll work on this a little bit in the morning, get it spruced up so that it's perfect. I'm going to take it with the whole spinning tray because I'm afraid I will lose it if I don't. So moving it this way. Oh, that one was big. That was like, So as we work with our tulips, we're always getting more. You know, somebody asked me, you know, how do you become a super tulip? How do you become a tulip? And I told you, tulips are students, graduates, flower lovers club members. Super tulips, you're learning as we go along as to how you become one. But there are lots and lots of tulips, and more all the time. Super tulips, we've kind of made it to be 10%. We figure 10% of the tulips become super tulips. And that's what we analyze all year long, and we watch and we keep lists, and then we all get together and we say, look at this list, look at that list, and we ask you, you know, who do you think should be a super tulip? But we put this list together, and then we all sit down and we look, and then we get our count, because it needs to be about 10%, because if we have everybody be a super tulip, it's not as special. So 10% of you. So then when you come in, you're a baby tulip. And that's when we have to start helping you become more in a super tulip. What else is going on? Well, I do some things here.
Well, Tess from Sweden said that they eat the rucula, but the leaves are tinier.
They eat it. Like a salad, like you would eat a salad? Interesting. Okay, huh. I probably wouldn't eat this because it wasn't grown for consumption, and who knows what's touched it as it was shipped and put in boxes and such. But fascinating, so you eat it. So see, learning from our internationals a little bit more about it. When we get a new tulip in the group, and you always say, is anybody a first timer? And when they say, yes, I'm a first timer, all the tulips jump in there and greet them and make them feel welcome. And then every time a new student signs up for flower school, we go in and we say, welcome to flower school, Julie, whatever, whatever the name is. Welcome to flower school, Tom. Welcome to flower school, Alex, or whatever. And then the super tulips quickly jump in and say, welcome, Julie. Welcome to school. Welcome. Glad you're here. We're so excited to have you join us. Very first, almost every single time, is Roxy. She's right there. It's like, oh my gosh, she's just, does her phone ding when we post something? Because she quickly is in there and congratulating them and welcoming them. But there's so many of you. Sherry, Sheila, Sue, Brian, Karen, Julie, Robin, Janet, Wayne, Michael, Amy, Shauna, you all are in there. And there's many more of you. But that was just a few that I grabbed when I was looking. I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. They're so sweet. They're so kind. They're so welcoming. They're embracing the new people. And I know some of you, when you go through flower school and you meet florists and such, you say, gosh, sometimes they're kind of protective and they don't want to talk to me because they're afraid I'm going to steal their business. Tulips know there's enough business for all of us. And if you help one, assist one, and guide them, it comes back to you tenfold because there's enough for all of us. It's an abundant industry. Yes, you have to find your niche. Yes, you have to work at it. It's not going to be simple. If it was simple and easy, everybody would do it. It can be difficult, but once you get into the correct bunch, the tulip bunch, you've got the support and the guidance to help you do it and to be successful. Don't you love this foliage? It's all been lacquered a bit with a white spray and a tiny bit of glitter, but it just brightens by adding that silvery white in there. I love that. Maybe a little bit more of the Douglas fir. Here, another thing that has been wonderful to me and is a support to the school and the team are people like Lori and Marmac that recognize the value of education and make a point of sharing their credentials, that they are FDI certified. And when somebody says, is it worth it to get certification? Is it worth it to go to school? They're quick to say, yes, yes, it's well worth it. Invest in yourself, invest in your future, make a point of getting the skills you need, and then they use examples they have in their own life of why it has been good for them. And that's so valuable because that's real world validation for people that are just exploring and wondering, is this right for me? And I can say, yes, you should join us. We'd love to have you. But hearing it directly from you, our super tulips, it means so much more because it is a real world reference of what worked for you and sharing with them why it worked and how it worked. So wonderful. I'm just radiating in and then adding in some flowers. Let's see, what should we use on this one? Yes, I haven't used any of the Alströmeria. We should do that. Alstroemeria is coming back in style. It's interesting how things go in phases. When it first came out, would have been in the later 80s, I guess. It went by the common name Peruvian lily. I don't know that anybody calls it that anymore because we got used to Alstroemeria, the botanical name. Sometimes we'll shorten it and call it Alstro, but pretty much it's Alstroemeria. And when you come to flower school, you learn that it's best to go ahead and take off most of the leaves because the flowers last way longer than the leaves do. So by removing the leaves, it lets the beauty of the flowers show through, and you can see it as it opens out. And they open very nicely and full. So these are just tight buds at this stage, but they're going to open out and be really a lovely bloom. You know, I guess another trait, we kind of call it that, trait of a super tulip is that they have concern for others. And they check in to make sure, are you doing okay? And the most recent one was just the other day when Iceland had the eruption. Carl came on and said, hey, has anybody heard from Becca? Is she okay? And I thought, oh, that's so wonderful to be caring and concerned and to reach out to find out, is your fellow tulip doing all right? And so then Becca just did chime in and said, yes, I'm fine, we're good. And she posted some videos so we could see the volcano. It's really, really quite amazing, very dramatic, majestic, I guess that's a good word. And so tulips, super tulips, they care, they concern, so that they assist and help. And I know when super tulips haven't been able to find something, or they're wondering if someplace else has it because they're out, tulips respond. I know Drake has shared, I know Lisa was quick to send us some 1-inch tape because we couldn't find it locally, and all of a sudden a case of 1-inch tape shows up on our doorstep, and it's like, oh, you know, and that just makes everything wonderful because then we all have it. So sharing, loving, caring, empathy, all words that you would use to describe a super tulip. You know, when we do school in January, we'll have new tulips joining us, and just in class, how quickly you bond. It amazes me how quickly you become best friends and start interacting with each other and helping each other, guiding each other. It's pretty great to watch, and so I know that's going to be happening in January. Online, it's a little bit trickier because you're studying at home, so you don't have people right there beside you, but that's why we have the Tulip Bunch, because you can connect there. And that's also why we have these live streams, because you can connect here and ask your questions and meet people that could be in your area. Or if they're not in your area, even just connecting by phone or email, all of a sudden you're not alone anymore. That community is so valuable, and I know that's been a wonderful part for our students to have that opportunity to connect with each other in the real world as well as the virtual world. I know many of us will be together coming up when we do AIFD in July, and we have several tulips for being inducted, and we have several tulips will be testing. And so we'll try to make sure and everybody connect there. And then we'll be at SAF in August and connecting with tulips from around the country. And then, of course, we'll be at Lansu again next November and connecting with tulips. We'll be here for the Rose Festival in June. A lot of tulips will be working on floats, helping with flowers for the princesses, helping with flowers for the dignitaries. All these things give us an opportunity to connect with each other. And by combining our star super tulips that have grown on and been there and supportive, and they're always looking for the new tulips and how to help them and what they can do to help them bloom, so to speak, but to really enter the world of flowers well and do it with the passion. Ooh, that really looks ugly. Never mind, not gonna do that. Back up, we'll go to this color. That looks better. Yeah. You know, sometimes you just pick the wrong thing, but the super tulips, as they expand and get broader with their outreach and their support, they're always looking out for the new tulips who have questions, who go, what do I do about this? How do I do that? Could somebody share a picture of da-da-da? Has anybody ever used da-da-da? And super tulips are right there to offer their insight, their knowledge, their guidance. And they'll take the time to reach out. And they'll sit there and they'll, I know about that. What do you need to know? I can help you with that. I know these things. And they'll put a post on there saying, well, have you tried da-da-da-da-da? Would you look at blah, blah, blah? And you don't know what it is exactly because every event and every situation is a little differently. We just had Super Tulip Cheryl had stopped by. She's not here in town, but she was in town that day. And she was talking about how she has a pick machine she's not using. And she quickly connected with another tulip and is going to be sharing the pick machine. And I thought, well, that was a very fortuitous meetup because all of a sudden she could take the knowledge that she didn't need that and could share it with someone who did need it and connect through with an experienced, established tulip to a new tulip who's just starting, just getting going, and still wondering where they fit into the big world of flowers, because it is scary when you just start. You go to that wholesalers and nothing is priced, and you're like, how do I find out what it costs, and what do I do, and oh my gosh, and it's scary. They don't even act like they know me, because they don't know you. And you're like, oh, what do I do? And a super tulip can reach out and give you guidance, say, okay, check out this. I know Sheila was just posting, she's doing a wedding in Indianapolis maybe? And she's like, what wholesalers in Indianapolis? And she was able to get the answer because tulips helping tulips. We all look out for each other. And so she's all ready to go now. She'll be able to go do her wedding and not have a problem because of that connection. And that connection all begins from flower school. You know, she came to flower school, she got her training, she connected with fellow tulips, and now here she is years later, reaching out and saying, how do I do this? I've got a wedding out of town, and what wholesaler, how do I make this work? And sure enough, the connection is made and put together. That's the beauty of super tulips, is we're all connected, we're all together, we all support each other. And I could list so many more. I could go on and on and on, but our hour is up. And I just want you to know that we here at the Floral Design Institute truly appreciate everything you do. The fact that you take time to encourage and inspire and celebrate your peers means the world. You promote each other, you respect each other, you assist, you support, and you share. Spreading the word of education, spreading the word of FDI, spreading the word about our classes and the value in that. And then you greet the new students and make them feel loved and special. Each of those things is so important to the community, because without you, this couldn't happen. The collaboration, the intimate times of conversation, it's all because of you. And I hope you'll join me next week. Maybe you're watching this on replay because it'll be up for a while, but hopefully something struck a chord with you and you'll want to join us, become part of the Tulip Bunch and a Super Tulip. Next week, come with your questions. Next week, that's all it is about answering questions about FDI, the teachers, me, the world of flowers. What does it mean? Where are we going in 2024? How do you end 2023 on a high note? How do you take care of things that maybe aren't perfect in your world right now and get ready to have a better world next year, or even next day or next hour? That's what we're doing next week. So it'll be a lot of fun, very casual. Bring yourself a cup of coffee or a glass of wine or whatever and sit down and have a conversation. Because I'm going to expect to hear from you. I need words, because if I don't have a question to answer, it's going to be an awful long hour. So help me out, okay? Have a great Christmas, happy holidays, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Get out there, and as I like to say, do something you love. See you next week.